What's up, everyone? It's me, Adam Prime, and we are back for the KingOhger half. If you were watching or listening to last week's, or maybe you skipped it because you're not watching Gachard. I don't know. This week is the KingOhger episodes. This is a bunch of 4 KingOhger episodes, which this one includes. But with me, as always...
I was gonna say, you forgetting something there, buddy?
With me, as always, is my lovely co-host and wife.
Hi, I'm Stormy.
Yes.
Yeah, again, in case you missed it, we finally got married. That's why we have been gone.
Well, that's why we were missing these episodes. There's a lot to talk about. This has some really cool stuff. We got the KingOhger crossover.
We basically finished a good arc, essentially.
Yes. I'm very interested, and it seems like things are are going to be getting more interesting. So this is pretty much, as we picked up from last time, Jeremy made himself the bad guy again.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much these 2 episodes, like there's two KingOhger ones, and there's 2 what I would call Jeremy's redemption arc. Like by the end of these 2 episodes, he's like Tara's no longer seeing him as a villain. But, like, this is the aftermath, but we also get introduced to the 5th Jester. Yes, you heard me right.
Another Jester.
But
oh my gosh, yeah, but my goodness, we have to go that far back. Oh my god, this episode's a good one.
Yeah, and this is actually even has some stuff to do with Rita. This is a very Rita-focused episode. We find out, finally, what's the deal about her eye. Do we want to get into that right away, or do you want to talk about her and Himino stuff?
Her and Himino stuff?
Yeah, the tea and everything.
Right. Okay, I was to be like, what? But anyway, so, the little, like, charm thing that Rita wears on their, glove was, like, the past sovereigns that we've seen a little bit of, and...
Karis.
Yeah, and Himino's jewelers fixed it. They're like, oh, you want some tea? And they're like, I can't be swayed by whatever. But then they're like, oh, what? You can be swayed by a cup of tea? It's like... kind of like that you can tell that like she knows Rita a little bit better, and now they know how to like get them to stay, and then like they actually do say yes, and they get to have tea, and it's super cute, and I love it.
And then they also
even Sebastian just like she only invites the people she really likes to tea.
We also get to see baby Rita again.
Mm-hmm. And it actually has like a really cute and very mature moment, I'd say, between them that you don't really see a whole lot, where Himino, because Rita, like, rambled about Mufon stuff for a little bit, because of course they did.
No, that was before.
Yeah, but, I know, I was just saying it real quickly, and then it's like, oh, and then Himino asks about Rita's eye.
Well, that's what leads to them talking about the scalpers.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yes, because she's like, hey,
you ask me anything. Yeah. Oh, right. But, but, yeah, Himino asks about it, and you could see that, like, Rita, like, kind of doesn't want to talk about it. And they're like, you know what? That's none of my business. Sorry, I asked. Anyway, move on. Ask me anything. And then that's when they ask about...
And they go on this long spiel about the scalpers, and then Himino teaches her a new phrase.
By the way, like, expert level redirect right there. We get so many... such cute imagery of just Rita with Mufon. I love it so much.
Yeah. Yeah,
Himino...
I'm not even going to try to pronounce it.
Yeah, but Himino tells Rita about this saying that they have, I don't quite remember. I think it's French, if I were to guess. But it basically means, if I'm gonna go to hell, I'm dragging you with me.
Here, what was it? I have how it's spelled, and it's subtitled right here. It's definitely right here, because we're not pronouncing it. I'm not even gonna
Tasteless mutarilla de potato. Tasteless mutation potato.
And immediately Sebastian's like, hey...
But wait, don't you have a meaning in here? I'm realizing?
Yeah, it's right here.
What is it? I don't care if I end up in hell, as long as I drag this one person with me.
Yeah, as long as I take them with me.
As long as very Rita's statement. Very...
it'll come back, don't worry.
Yeah, of course it does.
And we immediately find out who's freezing the town.
Because everything's freezing.
And it's Karis.
Yeah, it's the past sovereign that Rita knew.
And everyone's kind of being like, holy shit. And then we
actually even get a flashback to the one guy that we saw forever ago that Rita would trial every year in order to try and get them to be innocent.
Well, to see, but like also remembers, and like that she.
So that comes back.
Yeah.
Which
We'll
is...
also get back to her, and that's pretty much where because they quickly deal with Karis. Honestly, it's like Rita almost freezes, but like they save the day because she snaps back to reality. Because
and immediately falls over.
And we don't know why, but they're also examining the body and saying she's dead.
She should have been dead a while ago.
Days ago.
Or days ago.
And we also forgot to mention, while Jeremy and Gyra went to go see Jeremy, and he's just like, hey, you're not supposed to be here. And he's just like, but you're my friend. And he's like, oh.
All right, people.
And
someone else has...
Bogniark finds somebody in a dark black cloak. Why does nobody learn to not put people with dark black cloaks into their ranks?
Yeah. They're like, oh, we found them frozen on a mountain or whatever.
So yeah, while Himino's doing all of that, that's when
Is this
Gyra
when Rita...
and Jeremy...
Is this where Rita's eye gets explained?
Yeah, that's... Well, we already did the Rita's eyes getting explained.
Yeah, but like we didn't say what it actually was. Do you want to say what it is?
Yeah.
So apparently...
It's a magic.
It's basically a magic thing where... apparently, like, if it's visible in your eye, like, it means that it's even stronger with you, or it's like a natural thing.
It's the secret art.
It's a secret Gokon art, or whatever, where people that can't be tried by justice, like, people that have done things that are just so inhumanely...
I think this goes without saying, it was the guy for the Fury of the Gods.
Okay, I was in the middle of talking about something else, but okay.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, that's
I mean, I was literally in the middle of explaining it.
Yeah, keep going.
Fucking out! Anyways.
I jumped the cart.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, so it's something that like can't be like really punished by normal means of justice. You are able to encase in ice, but it also includes yourself.
So yeah.
And it really, really drains you.
And it kills you. It's like you will die, but they freeze with you.
You're frozen with it doesn't necessarily kill you. It drains you.
Yeah, it just takes you, and you pretty much are frozen until you die.
Yeah.
And that's also where we get the dead 3 days ago. And that's pretty much what we find out about her eye. Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, Jeremy comes in with the man in the black cloak, and Himino immediately sees him.
And recognizes him as the guy from the Fury of the Gods.
We need to bring up this actor. Because... like we said, this is
recognize
the
this
fifth
actor.
Jester. He is, if you've watched either Kamen Rider Blade or if you've watched Kamen Rider Forze, it's Garen. It's his actor. I can't remember his name at the moment, and I don't feel like looking it up. But he is doing a great job.
Oh my god, the acting in this is so good.
Don't mind that. So, yeah, the acting is so good. It's fine.
So we gotta mention this guy. He's super good acting in this.
Well, yeah. Though, like, it's like, and we find out, and we literally cut to the Galactic King being like, you don't remember the fifth Jester, good sir? Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, there used to be a couple of you guys.
Oh.
And his name is Garodi. I don't remember how to say his...
Lucidum.
He's got a big hat.
Yeah. And he pretty much admits to doing the Fury of the Gods. And Himino is obviously losing it. And just being...
good acting on this actress's end as well.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that real quick? What?
Just stop slurping into the fucking microphone. Jesus. I mean, I'm just trying to, like, be like, dude. But yeah, like, obviously she is just, like, furious and shaking, screaming. It's really good stuff. And just, why'd you do it? Like, you killed my family. He's like,
Bison line ever.
Just, like, it doesn't exactly narrow it down.
Exactly. Like, no fucks given. He was like, for you, that was one of the greatest moments of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday. Like, that's quite literally, not quite the same energy, but it's like, I do like, it's almost like the Batman Beyond. It's like, do you understand how little that narrows it down? Like, fuck, dude. Like, no fucks given. He then takes off his hood and puts on a big hat. Mm-hmm. He has a bigger hat.
Oh, yeah, I remember I made the joke if he had a Kamek hood.
Yeah. And you find out what his ability is to bring back the dead. So, like, these dead Bugnyark are everywhere.
Yeah, and they have the swirls in their eyes, like how the Locust did, like, which was something that we had, like, kind of mentioned a little bit.
And
but
even you see him get the thing in his eyes because they do show
but we also see very quickly after one of them tries to essentially minigun everyone down because apparently he can't control them. He can only really raise them and then they just go around just destroying whatever.
Instinct.
They're basically zombies that he can't control. And he can't die.
Oh yeah, he literally has one of them he gets gunned down, and I was like, could you imagine if that's just how he died?
It's just
but like,
credits.
and they're like his body's cold, and he's just like, and then he wakes up, nope, still can't die. For a person who loves death, it hates me. Play that violin. But we also see that Kame Jim is the one who broke him out.
And not only that, but
Karis was still alive?
Yeah, here's the thing. That's why I was trying to like, Adam, no, it doesn't kill you. It only drains you because she's alive after that. It's him that murders her.
Yeah, Kame Jim fucking just shoots her.
Yeah, and the mushroom dude, like, is the one that, like, physically breaks the ice.
Yeah. And, yeah, they're like, hey, since you're awake, use your powers on the corpse.
Yeah, and obviously, like, that's what happened with her, sadly, so...
Yeah, she's dead.
She's dead.
And
she's been dead. We kept taking so many screenshots of this guy because he just makes so many good expressions.
So many good expressions. He raised more, and like he does like almost a Fury of the Gods again.
Yeah.
And like you see all like the locusts are coming back. They were rising up. And
I noticed a cute little detail of like when you go straight to the founder for the beetle does a thing. It looks
just
cool.
Flies up to you.
Just flies up.
And also, Grody has this sweet scythe.
Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot about the scythe. That was
the
really
scythe
good.
is amazing. It's so funny because he's like the human one out of all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's like probably the most like terrifying.
And we have Rita ready to
do that secret art and
to seal him again,
and he's just like with this again.
He's like nope.
But and Rita is like freezing, and then
and, like,
but they're like
imagining.
I feel like and then like imagines Mufon, something that they care about a lot, coming and hugging them. It's just like, but I feel a little bit of warmth, and it cuts to Himino actually like going up and grabbing them and then pulling them away, stopping them from finishing their secret art. But I also have to point out, like, while Rita is, like, freezing, like, I love that they, like, started to color their hair. And they even gave them, like, white mascara to, like, make it look like their eyelashes were freezing. Like, such good little touches here and there that I really appreciated.
And, like, Himino literally just breaks down into tears, explaining how she wasn't gonna let...
This man already took her family. She doesn't want them to take Rita, too.
Exactly. It was kind of sweet.
It made me...
and then,
made me feel things.
Grody was immediately just like, I'm fucking out, dude. I don't want to get frozen again.
He's like, brr.
Brr.
And then we get a surprise show up at the end of the episode.
The surprise run-in of
Jeremy's mom.
Jeremy's
that the internet
mom.
immediately thirsted over.
And
violently.
Oh my god, this episode. We've watched it twice, and oh my god, this episode.
By the way, all they're saying is like, Jeremy, help me, essentially. Help your mom.
Yeah, exactly. That's like,
Jeremy,
yeah, just being like, don't leave me for these filthy children.
No, that's later.
That's later, but pretty much.
But yeah. But,
and our favorite form of Jeremy's back.
Depressed in a hammock, Jeremy. What, hey, Jeremy, are you today?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, the Galactic King comes back, and he's like, LOL...
I'm gonna make his mom destroy Sugar Dam. Sucks to be you.
Bye.
And like Jeremy's immediately like, I can't fight my mom. I can't do that.
Yeah.
And you can't make me. And then Yama's like, I'm gonna make you fight your mom.
He's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, you can tell that there's like a lot of subtext with what they're saying. Gira's not catching on, and it's hilarious seeing him just like struggle.
We even find out that Jeremy's mom was trying to stop the infighting from happening, and is the reason KingOhger was taken down in the first place.
She was the one that killed him.
Yeah. So it's like, oh,
we actually get to see this fight, and it's
is.
really good.
It's so cool. And should we just get into that now? Like what happened?
I guess maybe just so that we can talk about it throughout. Well, so they have a scheme going on. Maybe we'll wait to see exactly what it is. But I mean, I guess you already technically fucking spoiled it. So fucking whatever, I guess.
What?
Because you had already mentioned what their goal was, like, earlier in the episode.
Oh yeah. Well, come on. these episodes have been out for a little bit.
I know, but I just meant like the suspense of talking about it, and like leaving the reader interested. That kind of stuff.
Oh, come on.
Jerk.
It's
But
too exciting to not talk
I know,
about.
but you were just like, anyway, I'm going to open up with telling you all the important things that happen in this. And I was sitting there like, Adam, what are you fucking doing? No.
Also, he does get called a mama's boy.
Yeah, of course he does, and that's really funny.
And
But anyway, so there's
by
like,
the way,
let's...
Kaburagi leaves.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, Togure just up and leaves at one point, which was really funny once we noticed
Put a pin
it.
in him.
That's very rude. Well, I guess he is a bee. He's probably used to it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he literally dumps Jeremy out of his hammock. He's like, let's duel. Hey, Sovereign, come and be our witness or whatever.
And then, like, Himino is immediately like, I have to go after Grody. And Rita's like, I can't let you do that.
What? And then they handcuff her.
Yeah.
She asked if they had any cuter ones, because of course she did.
Yeah. And even later, she was trying to get her
Gyra's
to take
confused.
off
He's just like, guys, what's happening?
Yeah. Gyra's just like, what? All my friends are fighting. What is happening?
Guys!
And, like, we cut to... Which we have, Gyra trying to stop Jeremy and
then fucking Yama just ends
Yama.
up being like Dance Monkey and just like, no,
like,
you...
shooting him.
If you're gonna be useful, go and get them.
Jeremy has such this, like, cold bitch expression.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to see what Himino's doing, just to pretty much hear Himino trying to bribe Rita to let her go.
To a meeting Mufan's voice actor.
Yeah.
And then, what better distraction?
She throws Mufon.
She throws on a new Mufon episode, and Rita just, like, scooches in, just watches it, and then they drop a cage on him.
Well, after throwing her Mufon.
Yeah,
they threw her Mufon.
By the way, my goodness, Rita's actor got that mad kick, though.
Oh my god. And Rita's just like, Gyra's just like, oh my god, do you want me to get you out of here? And then she smacks him.
Just, to the point where you even see the thing that was on their wrist just
Yeah.
on their forehead later.
Wait, by the way, we did have a thing with Kaburagi, but we will get back to that. Kaburagi, we can just save until later because it's just funny as hell.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Gyra going back to try to stop Jeremy and Yama and gets punched in the face.
By both of them, because they're just like, well, I guess if this isn't going to be a duel, then I guess it's just going to be a brawl. And they're like, LOL. And then they punch and Gira just was like, I won't let my friends fight. Ow.
And then he leaves, and then we have Himino is now hanging out with Kaburagi.
And they're like trying to contact the space aliens or fucking
and just
whatever.
yelling,
Ventura! Ventura!
With
Just
their
like...
weird contraptions, and they all have their own special head baubles. He has his little bee baubles.
She's got the mantis ears.
And it's kind of funny. And the next day comes when Jeremy's mom's supposed to be attacking. Gyra's just like, my friends aren't gonna come help me.
And
This
the Galacta Insect King is just like, ha, told you, they suck, right?
Told you. Tell me what it's like to be my plaything.
Tell me what's right to be wrong.
Haha, you're so terrible. And he's just like, and he literally pulls a Gyra. He says, if you're so confident, then laugh.
And he starts laughing at Gira, and I've never been so personally offended.
And he starts laughing, and then one of a screen pops up, and they have a confetti popper.
And they're just like,
pop on him.
all together now.
And
Jen,
the rest of his friends... And the rest of his friends are just like, you've been pranked, bro! We just got you recorded! You're punked!
And he's just so unamused. You can really get a good shot of that little dude that's in the suit, too.
Yeah. And
we have
another
Gira
wonderful
has brain
blast moment.
Gira has another Gray's just like, I have no idea again, which is just great.
And we immediately go into Jeremy saying he knew it was Grody from the start.
Yeah,
because...
and by the way, they also were broadcasting this to the people who
everyone.
Yeah, they were
everywhere.
Yeah, they were broadcasting this and just being like, see everybody, Jeremy's innocent.
It's the Galacta Insect King that's doing everything.
He's the one that's responsible for this. He just took the blame. And his name is cleared, and our boy is back, and the Galacta Insect King is so mad. Because
he's just yelling, it's boring.
This is boring. And then he leaves. But they still have to... When they, like, roast Gira a little bit for just being like, what, did you not read in between the lines? Like how Jeremy always tells you?
He says, his mom is dead. You find out, like,
his mom I told you it was a memento.
Yeah. It's like, his mom. It's like, it's so funny because in the episode, it's almost like they tricked us when we watched it the first time.
Yeah, I remember, like, they'd almost gaslit us a little bit, where it's like, we always knew it's just like, okay, so Jeremy's mom is dead. And then, like, this came up, and we're just like, I mean, I guess maybe she could not be. Maybe he brought her back to life. Maybe this. You know, we were, like, just talking about, like, they actually fooled us into thinking that, like, we weren't correct. And then we're just like, oh, I've been bamboozled.
I've been diddled again. I love that Gyra wasn't in on it, but everyone else was.
Yeah.
Because they were like, we knew he was watching the whole time. What would be the point?
Mm-hmm.
And it is so wonderful because we have all of them coming together to do that. And we even get to see baby Jeremy, like, in the mask and everything, say goodbye to his mom, and we see him have a moment while they're in the mecha getting ready to kill her, and there was no music. It wasn't going to do that just like huge attack sound.
There was music, but there wasn't like any of the sound effects of like the robot or like the moves going on or anything. And it really just kind of focused on Jeremy's perspective and his like mental last words to his mom, because he can't say them out loud because because the king is watching.
Well, no, he can say it in this moment now that it's free.
Yeah, it's just like there's something I wanted to tell you all those years ago
when you died.
I love you, and then I cried.
Yeah, and then you just cried.
I didn't actually cry, but ooh, did I get close. I was like, ooh, that hurt.
And after that, we kind of have a moment where the kings are hanging out with Jeremy and just being like, hey, bro, it's okay.
Yeah, and then Bagheera actually goes up and like starts to comfort Jeremy, just being like, oh, so you understand this kind of subtext, huh?
And then the Galactic Insect King freaks out and
says, no more kings.
Says, no more, I'm sending you to New Jersey, JKA, Tokyo.
JKA, what?
I said JK. Tokyo, because I was going to say, because he says he's going to send him to the worst place possible.
Earth.
Yeah, exactly, Earth.
And if you think I'm kidding, no, they fucking get sucked into wormholes, and now
any Earth. We're just going to slide right into it. We're on KingOhger's Earth.
Cue the samba, because we've got KingOhgers.
And you have watched about the first 12 or 13 episodes?
Something along those lines.
Okay, I'm going to just need to talk about this here.
They have their sixth range.
This was the first Sentai I've ever watched. Is KingOhger. So it is very important.
Having its 10-year anniversary.
And nostalgic for me. And I gotta say, I love these 2 episodes. Like, it had some of the background music hitting. It's like, we even got to hear the theme song later on.
We got some cool character interactions.
Sadly, you can see that there are certain...
people missing.
Like, certain suits that no longer exist. Because... we had the giant amoeba goon guys. I like to just call them the amoeboys. There was actually like a giant T-Rex ones. You remember that look like them? But
like,
I guess
the ones that look like xenomorphs.
Yeah, exactly. They just, I don't know if they don't exist anymore because those were usually the ones that were giant. But in this one, we only saw the amoeboys.
Maybe it ended up getting used for something else.
And on Earth, only Gyra can transform for some reason?
For some reason?
Yeah.
Which I remember we were talking.
Sadly,
I don't remember if it was on camera or not, but I do remember us talking and you wondering about like, oh, I wonder what is different about Gyra's family line was that they had eaten one of the bug souls. I wonder if that actually kind of lends a little bit of credibility to it, because you were like, oh, what if all of them are just in their swords? Or something like that, but no. And maybe it could be in Gyra's specifically, but the fact that he was still able to use that, I think, says a lot.
Yeah. So, it's a little odd. Sorry for a little bit of an awkward, like, kind of cut pause thing, right there. But yeah, where were we on the KingOhger stuff? But yeah, we
were just starting to get into it.
And they each kind of get set up with their own rangers and everything else. And we get Yama and Gyra run into Soji, Kiryu Green.
By the way, who looks like he is both aged like a fine wine and also not aged at all. Like, I think he just got taller.
But yeah, no.
And somehow more handsome.
Do you want to say anything about watching the show by the way? Do you want,
Like,
your stance on the characters so far? How you feel about the team?
I am really glad that I had a chance to get attached to these characters, because I feel like within the time that I watched, I got a good sense of, like, what each of their personalities were, and knowing, and seeing different people interact, like, I got excited of, like, oh, those two would be really interesting to talk together, or, something along those lines of just... I had something to go off of, so it's like I knew what the stakes were, I knew what they were talking about,
Also, sadly, because you didn't finish the show, sadly, are some stuff spoiled in this show, and if you've watched it, you watched it, but if you're just sitting there being like, hey, these are spoilers for KingOhger, the show spoils it. That's not our fault.
But we won't be talking about anything that isn't in this.
We're not going to talk about certain aspects, we don't need to bring up, certain things.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but it's like, if we can avoid saying a spoiler, we are, but there are certain,
there are certain ones I do want to talk about, because it's they use it so potently.
Alright, I don't know if we also meet, Prince, which is a great character.
We're talk about Prince. That's a pretty glaring one we're going to have to say.
Okay, so if we're gonna,
but
I do want to give a quick mention to the fucking grapes that, Kaguragi found. Oh, these are great. I'm just like, those do look awesome. I'm so used to
those are some plump grapes.
Those are some great grapes right there. Those are a whole mouthful per grape, and I want some. They look delicious.
And Jeremy, Rita, and Himino are walking through the forest somehow.
They run into Ian.
Well, they don't just run into Ian. They're just kind of running around, and they stumble into Ian in the ruins that they always use.
Mm-hmm. Himino tried to call for Sebastian.
Yeah.
We made a joke of just you just see a pod launch.
Yeah.
And then you see him superhero land, just
like a squirrel. You see him squirrel land.
Yeah.
Ding. But yeah, pretty much that's when they're kind of all regrouping. Kaguragi kind of is he the only one with blue? Was nobody with blue? Yeah.
There was a person that was a reference to the Korean version of the show, wasn't there? Didn't an actor from that come in? It was the farmer or something.
No, the farmer was just an actor from. Looked like another actor. It looked like the butler from the original show, but I don't think it was him.
Okay, my bad.
But like you said, they run into Ian because Ian's looking at this mural that looks very similar.
Looks familiar.
This didn't exist in KingOhger, but we do. It does call it back, and if you don't know what the KingOhger does, it even has the music, the melody of the earth. Which, again, that's another, sadly, a plot point that is spoiled in this. It's a big plot point still.
And
it shows you how important...
If there's anyone that really wants to watch this show, first of all, go ahead. It's very good. I can recommend. I would say that, the information that I learned in this episode... Because, again, technically, there were things that you were hoping wouldn't get spoiled, and I did, just because we watched the episode. So I want to give at least a perspective of the ones that, I did learn about only really made me want to watch the show more.
Yeah.
If that makes you feel any better, of just,
it does.
A lot of the stuff that they talked about, the melody and everything, was really interesting, and I really did like it, and it just makes me see how clever the show is, honestly.
Yeah.
There's also, different character interactions that you see that are really cute. One interaction that I want to talk about was, Rita and, the one, little... Lakiro, because we have those... Oh, right, sheep. Sorry, I don't know why I immediately think that it's he when I see them. Or is that what they were in Power Rangers?
In Power Rangers,
that's probably why. But that we see those interactions. They're super cute.
She has a manga collection.
Yeah, Rita falls in love with manga because that sounds like exactly something that they would love.
We
get to see them interacting with the people. We get to see what it means to be a king in their eyes, of just being able to rally people, help them feel better, get some stuff done.
Yeah. By the way,
in their own ways too.
It's pretty obvious what Prince is, but we'll get to it when the episode calls for it. They say he's a time displaced warrior. Somehow he got here from an alternate timeline or a future,
and also the future.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's adorable. He's
so
cute.
He just stabbed one of the giants in the head. He breaks a sword, but he stabs it.
And Yama is just like, I'll repair that for you. And he's like, really? Because he has it together with freaking tape and sticks.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, but in exchange for thanks, buddy. And then he just leaves.
Yama was so into being into an alternate Earth.
Mm-hmm. He's just like, oh, this is up my alley. Hell yeah.
And
we get to see them in street clothes.
We also have
eventually.
like Soji kind of taking him in as like a student. He's just like, hey, your sword is your partner, man. Like, don't be.
It's not a tool.
Yeah, come on. Remember this stuff. And we also find out, because we do see the monster, which sucks out bravery. If you know Kyoryuger, you know why that's important. And it's also why the Kyoryugers can't transform. And this is like a composite of all of the generals. And it's just so kind of gross, but kind of cool. You got Candelaria's head. You got Agron's head. Like, the gold is the chest, with Chaos being like the main central point,
and like the actor is doing a really cool job.
He's
of
bipolar.
Just, like, yeah, and he's the bipolar monster. Because if you didn't know, in Kyoryuger, their monsters are basically based off of emotions and everything.
Yeah,
and this actor has one voice, but you can tell it's the voice doing
that impression
voices impressions in that voice when they're like talking, and they'll like emphasize that body part depending on which one they are in the moment, which I think is a really cool touch.
Also, Himino and Ian's things are hilarious.
Ian and Himino were not something I was expecting to love, but oh my god, did I love it.
It's
you know
so
what?
funny.
Let's talk about some of our favorite interactions, because I loved, what was their name again? Luckio?
Luckiro. You already brought up Luckiro and Rita.
Luckiro and Rita. Ian and Himino, Kaguragi and
Blue.
What was his name again?
I know they just call him No-san, but that's old man. I don't remember what his real name is.
I really liked.
I'm sad that we didn't get to see. I'm sad we didn't get to see any interactions between actual Daigo, King, and Uchi. Sadly, they were in space. They acknowledged that they went to space.
You can tell these actors wanted to be there, though, because they got their voice clips.
They got voices, so there were new lines.
I would have killed to see them interact with Gira, though.
And I am sad about that, but at least they didn't have to make an excuse of how they got to space. We already knew about Plezuan. They have a rocket ship. They're going. So, hey, maybe we'll see him again one day. And I will get to
don't they have a new day
later.
Boss, right?
And then there's a new day boss that's like more beetle themed. Yeah, instead of a butterfly. And we pretty much then get another.
And then, of course, Gira's gears get a.
Well, yeah, because Prince can't bring forth his energy or whatever.
Because they had their dinosaurs to help them basically awaken their bravery and their true potential. But he doesn't have that, and he's just like, and then that was what Green was talking about.
Yeah, and Gyra pulls a Gyra.
By the way, I'm very sorry for not, like, learning their names properly yet. I am still pretty early on in the series. You saw how long it took me to remember the other KingOhger's names.
I've watched that show 5 or 7 times, so I don't know.
5 or 7. But, and then Gira goes full, I am a tyrant king, and I'm going to take over.
Now fight me!
I'm going to take over Japan if you don't stop me now!
And he's just...
He's got a cool new red sword.
My favorite part is he transformed into KingOhger, and he was just like, hey, that's cheating. He's like, oh, the best words to use against me, because I cheat. And he's just like, oh my god, and then he actually lands a punch and knocks him out. And then, like, he untransforms, and, like, the ghost of Huagon is just like, hi, you've earned my respect.
We can vibe together.
Into the battery.
But we had to give a quick shout out to Gira when the fight was really starting, and he threw his cape, looked at him like a psycho, and just laughed super loud in his face. I think that was great.
It was so
And they
good.
were all like sneaking around and watching them.
Yeah, exactly. It was really cool. And we immediately then get...
But then it's just like, hey man, you did it. This was an act? And it's like, yeah. And they're just like, yeah. And everyone's just like, yeah.
King Kyoryu Red. And by the way, we also forgot to mention Candelaria. Mm-hmm. We will get to more her in next episode. But like
Pincia.
And yeah, he is the pincer or the pincer hero.
Brave hero, depending on the subs.
Depending on your subs. I prefer hero.
Mm-hmm.
And we also he is just, it looks like they took Carnival's suit and just put the KingOhger armor.
And honestly, it works. It looks so good with the side cape. I love it.
We will get into it in the next fight because this was just the debut fight.
Yeah, we do see it more later, but just so you know, there is in fact cape acting. I did check. His is definitely different. It's much more wild, and he lets it like wrap around his hand.
Which fits perfectly.
Which fits his character, so it looks like it's just kind of flapping all over the place, but you can see like, he has control over it. So it's like, can confirm cape acting.
But this episode, the first episode part ends with saying that Jeremy's father's people were from Earth.
And they...
Bum, bum, bum!
Yeah, they were humans that immigrated to Terra, and that's where they came from.
Because everything sucked on Earth, and they were like, fuck this shit, I'm out. And...
They named... I think they said they named it Terra in, like, tribute or
in
something
tribute
like
to
that.
Earth. And whatever, and we
But
pretty
anyway.
much then get to see...
So this is next episode.
Yeah.
Bad guys are just like, I'm not fully formed yet. I'm gonna turn into a nightmare for a second.
Yeah, and we get this sick picture of the two murals connected, by the way.
Oh, it looks
It is
so good.
awesome. And he's like, my father is the one who taught me how to draw.
So I
That's why
recognize
his
it.
style is the same.
Mm-hmm. So this was his father's, and then he made the other one.
Exactly. So it's kind of cool because it's like the KingOhger mural. And we also we see everyone in regular clothes.
I love it.
And we get to see Himino with Candelaria, and they're just kind of singing the song for children, and they're talking about how great it is that they're there.
Essentially, like, all of the kings have, like, along with, like, the different, like, KingOhgers, show their different ways of cheering people up, like, through food, through music, through, we see
whatever. Gyra try to make them laugh and kind of land flat. But,
he's good with the orphans, though.
Yeah, he's good with the orphans, and, like, it's so funny because we start seeing, and we get to meet, Blue's sister and his niece.
Oh my god.
She's a fully grown adult.
Seeing that made me feel
not
old.
an adult, but, like, she's
Looks
not
like the actress
she's not
is
like,
in, like, high school or something.
Yeah, I'm about to say she's definitely, like, 10 years older. So I'm like, oh my god, you were a child. I was a child, but still. And we also have Amy, who is off to find the Voltosaurs.
Which is, by the way, I can appreciate the fact that they were split up for a reason. They were all actually doing very important things.
And we also found out that the Kokosas Castle is a rocket ship. And when they freed the Voltosaurs, he was like, oh, maybe I can contact Kuwagon. I had to go long distance, though. Bling, bling. And then Suzume sees the castle.
No, her wedding
blinking.
ring, like, blinks red and...
She was questioning if it was Reculus, and I'm like, why are you on his side?
Also, why are you in Shogadam and not in your brother's kingdom?
That's also a good question. I like how Kuwagon was just like, hey, what's up? And then, like, the castle turns into beetle mode and launches off, and everyone's like, load up, boys! And, like, all of KingOhger loads up into him.
All the shoe gods.
Not all of them.
Well, most of them. Enough to form.
Just KingOhger.
Just KingOhger. Luckyo basically falls in love for Rita. Can't blame them because Rita looks absolutely stunning in their outfit.
And if you know KingOhger, they say something, and I guess I forgot to get a picture of this, but not only did they now allow Blue and Candelaria to be a full relationship, like, I don't ever think they ever full on, like, it almost was like a forbidden love in the actual show.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I never know if it was clearly stated, but in this, it is clearly stated they are together.
And they're getting married.
And it's kind of like, oh my.
And of course they use it.
It touched
as a thing.
Jeremy.
It touched Jeremy, just being like.
Like, that's why we had to bring it up. If we could have skipped it, we could have skipped it. But, like, it brings the Jeremy because he's like, your species. He's like, I love this place.
Yeah, it's really funny how contradicting, Jeremy and the Galacta Insect King of just. Like, I'm going to send you to the other worst place I know. And it's just like, oh, this place is wonderful, too. Also, can we give a quick shout-out to the face that Gira makes when he first sees...
The dinosaur?
Gabutir. That is the face of a child seeing dinosaurs for the first time. That's a kid seeing Jurassic Park for the first time. Like, that is pure joy and wonder, and I love it.
It's so great.
It's so good.
And... they make them try to remember the melody of the earth because Candelaria said it's like, oh, it's almost like they forgot what music was. And
Himino just like I got this. Piano,
starts playing the melody of the earth, the KingOhger theme, and everyone starts singing it. They're going, whoa, whoa.
But guess what? The bad guy's fully restored, so they gotta fight him.
But
whoa,
now the KingOhger...
Whoa.
Okay.
No.
That was a little loud.
I'm sorry. I'm
excited.
Yeah,
it's so exciting. And then, like, their powers are now back because the bravery is back.
Oh, also,
and now all of them fight together.
But you wanted to mention that you think a lot of the people that were in that scene were, like the people that sent in the tapes and stuff.
Like, no, it's like, do you have to think at least some of them have to be the kids who grew up in this, to just be side actors, to be part of this, to be part of KingOhger again. Mm-hmm. I want to know. I do really want to know. There's nothing that's come out. There's nothing confirmed. but I would like to believe that these were the people you could assume
Because
sending in those tapes.
For those that don't know, at the after a certain point in KingOhger, people would be sending in tapes of all different sorts of people, all different sorts of ages doing the KingOhger dance. Yeah. Everything from like little tiny kids to like businessmen in suits. Like
it was amazing.
It was great, and that's my headcanon. Also, before I forget, because I will forget if I don't mention it now, we tried to look up what the heck Ventra meant. We couldn't find anything. If you guys know what that means, please let us know. I'm genuinely curious because I want to know what I'm yelling all the time because I can't stop.
And
but anyway, yeah, they get to fight all together. Yeah, we get to see them all transform.
They all both roll call, and oh yeah, the KingOhgers are back. I really wish we could have seen the others, but I understand. I understand.
Also, like, they got the smoke and the explosions. We get to see, like, the different people fighting in different ways.
Yeah, everyone got to team up. Amy, Rita, and Himino all team up.
By the way, great color palette. Love it.
Kaburagi and Blue obviously team up together. Jeremy and Soji team up together. And obviously, Gaira in his gold form and Prince are fighting off, and they defeat Dayboss.
Yeah, they do it. They bring because of course the kings brought peace before they left.
Yeah, and we get a KingOhger KingOhger team up, and I'm not talking about just like the show. I'm talking about the robots. And I really wish they kind of were suits, but I get it.
Oh yeah, like you know that this is probably the only way they could do it. But like, here's another thing for people that don't really know. So from around this time, the KingOhger mech was actually like really interesting because it was such an active robot. Usually it would just be like swing big sword, win the fight.
Oh yeah, like he was like bicycle kicking. In one of the episodes.
Like
I love it.
They're super active. They're flying all over the place because you were just able to move a lot easier in that suit, like as a suit.
Surprisingly.
And same thing with KingOhger. So it was really awesome getting to watch
the fight was awesome.
Watching these two mech fight because they were both so energetic. Like while fighting, it was really good to watch.
And we kind of get the ending, and the kings are like, "Well, we made peace, and I guess we should get out of here." And they're like, "Oh, thanks, Prince. Maybe you'll be king."
And then
one
we
day.
see them do both the KingOhger and the
KingOhger dance,
and the KingOhger and the KingOhger dance. All of the actors doing it. I loved it. Also, thank you, Pink KingOhger, for coming out of retirement. We appreciate you.
People didn't know if she would be able to come back, but we get a few things revealed at the end, but we also have it.
Again, I don't know how much you want to talk about, just to try and keep some of that magic alive, I guess. But
I guess, but it's like there's just a few things I want to mention where it's like with Prince and everything, because I thought he was gonna go with them. He didn't. It's like as soon as they started leaving, I'm like, "Hey, aren't you guys forgetting somebody?"
Yeah, because like we do see other like promotional stuff, so we're like, so we obviously know something goes with them. We thought Prince was going to be going to their world.
Apparently, going by the next episode, it just seems like Gabutira is just like, "I'm going on to space." Which, by the way, there was a thing earlier where you could hear Daigo tell Prince, "Hey, take care of Gabutira for me." And all of a sudden, like, now I'm just imagining him see that. And he's like, "What the fuck did I tell you to do?"
Just say. But
and
this is a great one.
Yeah, and we find out what his name is, and it was obvious from the start, but he's obviously Daigo-san.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know the show, and if you know the 100 Years After special, you know who the mom is.
Mm-hmm.
You knew who the mom was, but I think it's funny because apparently Ian and Kyoryu Blue didn't know, and they just kind of looked at her like, "What?"
Wow.
Yeah, exactly, and they just do the famous, "Wow."
Wow. And yeah, which Jeremy picked up. By the way, oh my god, seeing Jeremy and Blue interact was also great because Jeremy like started to take an interest in his puns. I was like, "No, please don't tell Jeremy of all people the puns. He will never stop."
And
no.
That's pretty much it. Like you said, they end on the mixture of the dance, and they're all doing it.
Everyone slayed. I screamed a screamed. I screamed a scream. I loved everything.
I loved this episode. I'm excited. Meanwhile, next episode looks great. You were so like, "Oh, I want to go back to Terra," though. You were like, "Japan's cool. Take me back to Terra." We are going back to Terra next week.
I'm
obviously.
So happy we're going back to Terra.
It looks like stuff's gonna happen though.
Oh
There's
man,
some kind
I'm
of mysterious
so
kind of person, and I'm excited. I'm excited. What was your favorite episode? Like I can't even pick a favorite.
Hard,
I can't pick a favorite. Like my nostalgia and my love for KingOhger kind of outweighs it, but then the Jeremy stuff and him being redeemed was so fucking
think
perfect.
the episode where they pranked the king and got sent to the world was a very good episode.
There's not a bad episode in this
God,
bunch.
the episode, yeah, like, cause like also with like Jeremy's thing, so good. I'd say also, you know, everything with his mom. So I feel like that one's probably at least like my first or second pick.
But Grody, by the way, Grody.
Grody's episode was fantastic. That would probably,
Well, he was in both, but like he was a great introduction.
that was
I'm
such a
excited to
good
see him.
episode. What was
He
the
won
other
the best
episode?
jester contest.
But like I did genuinely like the last episode that we talked about a lot though. I feel like those
I
are
love the KingOhger episodes.
I think that those are obviously my top 3 at the moment. So
like again, none of these are bad.
I mean,
All of
I
them
literally
are really
basically listed most of what we just talked about. It's like, which is your favorite episode? I don't know, all of them.
good. Exactly. Do you have a favorite moment?
It was just a good arc, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, the moment where Jeremy was saying goodbye and I love you to his mom was just, like, heart-wrenching. But, like, also the final fight with the KingOhgers made me scream.
I was gonna say them remembering the melody. That was a moment.
Or even just, like, so many of the good, like, spine-chilling moments with Grody.
Mm-hmm.
So many good.
This was 10 out of 10 4 weeks, honestly.
Oh, so good, man.
Like, it crushed. Like, even if we did our normal format, this would have crushed Gachard every week so hard into the ground.
Again,
it was dust.
For those who skipped it, Gachard actually did get pretty good. Like I had a lot of things that we enjoyed, a lot of the positive things to say about it. I would actually
It's not as long as this.
It's like half the length of this. I would say go and give that a shot if you guys were listening because we genuinely did enjoy it, and we will be getting back. We will be getting back to like the
regular
normal weekly stuff.
But you know what? Here's an analogy from Gachard I can use. He was the wrestler snapping Gachard's spine every week. You know what I mean? He's just like, yeah!
It's just breaking you over your back.
It's like, yeah, it's like KingOhger wasn't trying to, but it did every fucking week, and I adore it.
God, KingOhger. Also, I was not expecting these two shows to mesh as well as they did, but my God, I wish there was more. I hope
we at least see Prince come back in some capacity.
By the way, if you couldn't pick up on it, they do get home because the spaceship shows up. That's how the bugs got there.
Yeah, that's how they could all transform at the end.
That's how they went home. But now if you think about it, they have space travel.
Yeah.
Like, that's, first of all, a possibility to keep in our back pockets for whenever things happen. But also, they can just go back and forth between this world if they technically want to.
They can go vacation.
They can go visit their friends.
By the way, you know what's funny is, because KingOhger is canonically just a regular Earth. Like, there's a whole, we saw, like, Hawaii, we saw, like, America, we see all these other places.
Like, they have McDonald's. Like...
So, exactly, they could be like, Garber's like, let's go! I want to go try KFC.
He's like, I want to try Popeyes.
Exactly. It's fantastic. Like, again, KingOhger is very close to my heart. It's one of those shows that...
Basically, our two favorite shows meshed beautifully.
Yeah. And it gave me everything I wanted to. It felt right.
Oh, good.
None of it felt wrong.
I was actually going to ask, like, as a deep KingOhger fan, how did this make you feel?
My only disappointment is I would have loved to see King and Uchi interacting with them. I really would. Like, especially Uchi with Jeremy. Mm-hmm. And Daigo with all of them. Mm-hmm. And it could have been really fun, but I also get it. The actors are busy or they couldn't, whatever reason. But at least their voices were there and we heard them. You
could tell they wanted to
go. It's like they at least did something for this episode. It wasn't just there. And matter of fact, the fact that we got 4 out of the 6 of them is very impressive.
Again, one of them came out of retirement.
Yeah, one of them was nobody knew they could get her back. And honestly, I'm glad because seeing Kiryu Blue as Shiroi kind of got me disappointed that they didn't do more, and I'm glad No-san's at least a little bit back. And KingOhger, I'm so fucking excited for those toys, man. I'm so excited.
And you guys could probably be excited for them too, because did we ever have a chance of not getting those toys?
I don't even care. You can sass me all you want. I was gonna buy those.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm talking about. Just like there was no chance that we weren't going to not get those.
I don't know if those. Yeah, it's like those are actually on my way to me now. So who knows when the.
I bought you one of them as a present. Like.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
But we will get to those when we can get to those. So we are we are hopefully caught up. We will be hopefully getting back to your regularly scheduled show.
We're actually not
next
super
time.
behind anymore. Woohoo.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
In case something terrible happens, but hopefully not.
Also, since we said it in the last episode, we didn't really say it here just in case. I don't think we're going to be doing a Tokubrew this year. Again, we just kind of got swamped with literally everything. The wedding, just life in general. Mostly the wedding, honestly. Oh my god, that took up so much of our brain. But, yeah.
Well, yeah.
So we don't know if we'll be doing that, but we'll maybe try and do something at some point.
Also expect, when we finish it, and I don't know, we're still watching it, expect something actually fully on KingOhger when that happens.
Yeah, like,
we are going to do a Tokubrew about KingOhger. I want to make sure it happens.
Yeah, I was about to be like, yeah, I feel like that was probably inevitable.
Yeah, I need to talk about that show as much as I can.
We still have a few other things we need to do, but we'll slowly be getting caught up. And thank you for being patient with us.
Yeah, so we hope you guys enjoyed us talking about KingOhger, because we sure as hell loved watching it.
And KingOhger.
Yeah, it was great. 10 out of 10. Like, a lot.
Would watch again. Well, I've technically watched this show.
We're gonna probably watch this show 3 times because we watch it with your sister too.
Yeah, because we watch it like the first time, then we watch it for screenshots, and then we watch it with my sister.
But to be fair, every time we rewatch it, we gain something.
Fan, who is like fully now a fan, and I love it.
Yeah.
Because they're not in the Toku circle, so it was really funny just throwing them into the fire, and they're just like, heck yeah.
So yeah. Well,
hi, if you're listening.
Probably not.
Probably not.
She doesn't know we have a podcast.
Oh, she knows, but I doubt she listens. She probably thinks we're nerds.
All right. So, until next week.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Hopefully it's normal. Like, unless we get behind again.
Oh,
because
God,
you wanna know
please
something? Okay, real quick tangent of editing and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We put in the thing where, like, hopefully we'll get back to normal to the one before, like, we get back to a normal format. We went back to a normal episode one time to the episode before these two. And now we're doing this again. So hopefully we can get consistency.
Yeah, also we've been having technology problems, too. It's not been fun on your end.
So, yeah.
Very happy I don't deal with that.
So, again, thank you guys so much for listening. And, I'm about to say recently hit 300-something subscribers recently.
You finally hit 300?
Yeah, it's so good. So
job,
thank
buddy.
you guys so much for listening. Even if you guys aren't listening. Whoever's listening, thank you so much. Just know I'm glad that you guys are enjoying at least some of the random stuff we spiel out. Like, just calling Niramu Lord Reginald for the whole show. You know how hard it was to do
I kept forgetting his actual name.
You know how hard it was to do a figure review?
And not call him that?
And not call him Lord Reginald? Like, it was so hard.
It weirdly just fits him, doesn't it?
But yeah.
I need to, like, make a piece of fan art or something where it's, like, him, like, on...
But with, like, a top hat and a monocle and
it's
a
just
mustache.
Sir Reginald.
With, like, one of those, like, fancy king capes.
Lord Reginald.
Esquire.
But anyway, thanks for listening,
But yeah,
guys.
thank you so much. Until next time.
Bye-bye.